Everyone has been waiting for this. The Toronto Blue Jays come out and send a statement taking care of business in game one against the Red Sox in a very rainy, crazy game that saw a bunch of weird things happen, some crazy challenges, but one player shined above the rest. We're going to break down exactly who it is and discuss what it means going forward, as fans have been waiting for this for the past few years. So stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. But before we get into it, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, it's the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. If you want to help us towards our big goal of 20,000 subscribers, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And thank you guys again for your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, a ton to go over today. We've been waiting for this for the past couple of seasons. And I'm talking about what a crazy game it was today from George Springer. And obviously, I said in the intro, they were waiting for this for the past few years. It's really been the past 2 to 3 years since, of course, he signed there a few years ago. But man, oh man, what a huge game. Let's just break it all down. George Springer went 4 for 4. He also got on base with catcher's interference. George Springer is back. And there's a ton to break down in this game, obviously. I mean, it's at the point now where this team slowly but surely is starting to again, I've been talking about it, and we'll dive into George Springer fully in a minute here, but I've been talking about it all season long. If the top of the order can really start to mash, the team's going to be in good shape. Santander still looks pretty rough out there. He did get a line drive hit that was overturned, initially called foul, overturned into a fair ball. Bichette got absolutely robbed in the top of the first at bat of the game. Vladdy, fresh off of extension, looks very calm, got on base 3 times. He looks fantastic. Even Allen Rhoda making some plays, but regardless of that, it was a very big win for the Toronto Blue Jays. You're coming into town. The Red Sox had won 4 in a row. You silence that. You're now tied for the Red Sox in the AL East. Not that standings matter a ton at this juncture, but regardless of that, you're in an extremely good spot right now. The team is in a good spot. The Jays are in a good spot. And speaking of a good spot, George Springer had his first 3-hit game of 2025 tonight, marking his 6th multi-hit game of the season, which is absurd. His average is even higher than that tweet because, of course, he got another hit after that. He's hitting .455 in the season following his injury. Man, oh man, what a huge game for him. And we've been waiting for this for, a couple of years. Now, obviously, when they first signed him, he had 2-3 really solid years of Blue Jay. But the past couple of years, it's been disappointing. And there were some conversations prior to the start of this season about, hey, will he even be able to stay a regular in this lineup? Is he going to be a guy who is an everyday player for the Toronto Blue Jays in 2025 and 2024? He's no longer the leadoff guy that all of us know and used to love. But man, oh man, and shout out to John Schneider tonight for switching Kirk and Springer in the lineup. I think having Jimenez, Springer, Kirk is a much better order than having Springer down below there. And Kirk, whether or not he stays in that spot, is still up in the air. But regardless of that, the Jays are in an extremely good spot right now when it comes to George Springer. We've been waiting for this to finally happen. Still haven't gotten the home run. We had no home runs today. Still haven't gotten the big home run from the top, 3 or 4, specifically at the top 3 with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But that doesn't matter. You go out, you get the win. Boy, oh boy, what a fantastic win it was. And there's a few other things. There's a ton of things to break down in this game. We're going to dive into José Berríos in a minute. But obviously, okay, well, we'll start with the top. Bichette, solid game. Vladdy, again, like I mentioned, looked very calm. George Springer looked fantastic. But even the bottom half of the lineup, Kirk had a couple hits, including a infield base hit. A little bit sketchy. I don't think he's playing the best baseball. He's not driving the ball necessarily or anything like that. He's not crushing it. He's not necessarily hitting line drives the way he used to and that we're used to. But he's going to be perfectly fine, whether that be infield hits and all these different things. He's going to find his way to get on because he's somehow a merchant with infield hits. But I like the way that the bottom half is playing. And Nathan Lucas had a very weird interference call at second. A lot of fans were clamoring to, get him out of the Blue Jays lineup. Quite frankly, he looks pretty, he looked okay at the dish today. He had a huge hit that should have drove in 2. Will Wander tried to advance to third. He got out before George Springer got there. Regardless of that, I like the way Nathan Lucas hit tonight. But you can't, as a fringe player, you cannot be getting those interference calls. And obviously, it's not the way the rule was designed. It's not the way it was intended. But regardless of that, you go out and you hit your hand against the guy trying to turn 2. He shouldn't do that. I still don't think Nathan Lucas has a spot in this team once Varsho is back, but it was good to see him get a big base hit there to help the Jays extend their lead a little bit. And then, of course, Allen Rhoda went 0 for 4, smoked a couple balls, some interesting defensive plays. But that's that. It's time to touch on the man of the hour, which is José Berríos. Obviously, George Springer was the big guy of today, but José Berríos did just as well. And we're talking, it is very freezing cold in Boston by all accounts. It is misty. It is raining towards the end. He goes 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, and 2 strikeouts. And again, it was at the point where in today's game, there wasn't that many, obviously wasn't many opportunities to get a ton of strikeouts. The umpire was calling pretty bad balls and strikes. You had the freezing cold weather, all these different things. And regardless of that, he comes out and he gets the job done. And that's what matters the most. He got the job done in a fantastic way. I mean, so again, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Just a huge game from him. And to see him bounce back and to be able to do as good as he has after his initial opening day season opener, which I was at, it was, you love to see that, especially the bounce back. And the Jays pitching staff has been absolutely fantastic. If the Jays were able to get any sort of runs against the New York Mets and their offense would have done anything like they did tonight, they would have been able to win at least 1, probably 2 games in that series. And maybe it was the thought and the conversation regarding, the Vladdy extension that got in Vladdy's head a little bit. Not that he had a horrible series, but he didn't have a great series by any account, especially Vladdy's account. Maybe it's some other things. They're out of New York now. They're into Boston, and these are the games that matter. I know it's extremely early into the season, but you look back at these games against your AL East opponents. They split the series against Baltimore, and now they're up, 1-0 in the season series against the Red Sox, who they'll play a ton. But these are the games you need to win, and huge shout out to José Berríos, a shutdown outing against a Boston team that is absolutely red hot. Their bats are red hot. Devers. You have Tristan Casas doing crazy things, stretching singles to doubles. And then, of course, you have Jimmy Garcia. He did give up a run. I don't know why ESPN didn't have that there, but he did give up a run. And Jeff Hoffman comes down in a 9-pitch outing and shuts the door completely shut, which is what you absolutely need at a time like this. Yes, they were up a few runs. This game was the score doesn't tell the story. It was a much closer game, or at least it felt like it was. In the bottom of the 8th inning, when there was, the error by Will Wagner, and then there was some walks, almost bases loaded, all these different things. Terrifying as Jays fans. We know we experienced heartbreak a couple games ago in that Mets game. It's a huge win, and I cannot express how happy I am with this win, because the big piece of info here is, and also a bunch of people thought that Easton Lucas was starting. According to all accounts, Easton Lucas was starting today, but it was José Berríos. Tomorrow, it's seemingly going to be Easton Lucas versus what we know now is confirmed, Garrett Crochet. Boy, oh boy, is that going to be an interesting game. So to win the first game of the series before going up against Boston's ace and Garrett Crochet, who's coming out of an 8-inning, I believe 1 hit, no earned run game, whatever the exact stat line was, definitely 8 innings. And I believe 1 hit, no runs for sure over 8. Man, oh man, it's going to be crazy. Getting the win today sets the tone going forward. The offense, despite the home runs, is booming in today's game. It was horrible in the Mets game, so a big bounce back. And if they can figure out the home run ball a little bit and getting the top 3, specifically now Anthony Santander, and tapping into some of that power, this offense is going to be absolutely terrifying. And I think that's what we're all waiting for. Shout out to the bottom of the order. Shout out to the bullpen mostly. Jimmy Garcia a little bit scary there. But again, it was freezing cold. And of course, shout out to the man himself, José Berríos. Ladies and gentlemen, what a way to end off, of course, what was the first game of the series, but what was a crazy last 24, 48 hours, the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. extension. If you're enjoying the daily content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Tons of new videos coming out for you all. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.